So let's just begin with kind of where does this hub and spoke concept really fit into our lead funnel framework? And so from a planning phase perspective, it fits in that topic section. You'll see that here in a little bit, but it's really all about coming up with topics that our audience is going to care about. That's going to help them understand how to solve problems. It's going to move them through their buyer journey. The other area that it helps with is in activating the audience. And believe it or not, a good hub and spoke strategy is going to fuel search engine optimization for your business, which is going to drive lots and lots of traffic to your business. It's one of the reasons why here at Vindy we get so much traffic from search engines. It's because of our blog, and it's because we take the hub and spoke approach in so many ways. And then finally, it is about your blog. It's about establishing authority. It's about giving the information to your audience in a format that makes sense. And so let's go ahead and just dig in and start with just what is a hub and spoke. And Lisa, when you hear the term hub and spoke, obviously you help us with our content marketing, but it's absolutely a critical part of our content marketing strategy, right?
Yes. And you know what? It's such a simple concept, Paul, to implement into your strategy. And once we explain it to you, I hope you have some aha moments because it really is such a simple strategy.
Right, and it consists of topic clusters, and you'll understand what that means here in a moment. But when you think about the term cluster, think about like, some grapes, right? You have grapes, they come in a cluster. Well, we're going to be building content around clusters. When you get that thing, a bunch of grapes from the store, and you can pull off like one of the little ends, and maybe it's got 5 or 6 grapes on it. That's kind of how this hub and spoke really works. It's all around these topic clusters that center around a pillar post. And a pillar post is really like the key post, the article that's going to be in your blog that kind of answers the ultimate question that your buyer's trying to get answered around that particular topic. And then it also has these supporting posts. So think of the pillar post as maybe, like that vein, if you will, that's got all the grapes connected to it. That's your pillar post. And then all those little grapes, I have no idea why I'm using a grape analogy this morning, Lisa, but I think it kind of works. Those grapes around it are kind of like your supporting posts. And so let's take a look at what that looks like, visually here. So we start with the pillar post. Okay, that's the ultimate key post that you're trying to get to rank well in the search engines for a very important keyword for your business, but also kind of is the mothership, if you will, around that particular topic. And so when we build a pillar post at Vindy, we like to use the term, the ultimate guide to blank, or the essential guide to blank, or the definitive guide to blank. So in this example here, you can see, because we're talking about content marketing today, thought we'd make it, the essential or the ultimate guide to content marketing. So ultimately, all these other posts are going to feed into this pillar post. Now, your pillar post always is a blog post, right? It will be a blog article that you write and promote just like you would any other blog. But because it is the essential ultimate topic or post around a topic, it can also become a gated asset. In fact, we often turn our pillar posts into a downloadable PDF or an ebook or a guide. So it certainly makes that a lot easier. When you come up with kind of what your pillar post should be, you need to immediately think about, hey, can we make this into an ebook? Should we make it a webinar? Should we turn it into a course? I mean, those are definite good pre-purpose, repurpose ideas around a pillar post. And then the next thing we want to do is start thinking about our supporting posts. And so our supporting posts are these additional pieces of content that are also blog articles that are around elements of the pillar post. So in this example here, you can see just working from left to right, we've got, tips on developing a content marketing strategy, how to pick the best topics. Notice in that second one, we're not even using the word content marketing, but we are related to that topic. And that's fine because the Google spiders today are so sophisticated that you don't have to actually optimize for a key phrase, even though content marketing might be our ideal key phrase. The fact that we're using something related, like identifying best topics for a blog article, that still works. And then moving over to the right, you've got content marketing best practices. And then finally, over to the far right, you've got 10 tweaks to improve your strategy. So these are all supporting posts related to the ultimate pillar content, which is about building a content marketing strategy. Now, when you have all of these together, that's what you call the topic cluster. So if you remember, we're in this hub and spoke strategy, and so a big part of the hub and spoke strategy is pillars and then supporting posts, and those things working together become your topic cluster. Now,
And
go ahead, Lisa.
Paul, I just want to kind of intervene a little bit and say, you could also, and you might be touching on this pretty soon, you take your pillar post and you take your supporting post, and you could just really micro dive into some of that content and put it out as a tweet or put it out on Instagram as an image with a little bit of micro content, or LinkedIn or Facebook. So you're even breaking it up further, and then you're linking it back to your pillar post or your supporting post as well.
Yeah, that's Lisa. She is the repurpose queen. So she's wanting you to make sure that, you get maximum value. If you're going to spend all this brain energy coming up with great topics, we want to make sure that we're getting the maximum exposure. And you're absolutely right, Lisa. I mean, going in and creating micro posts, or even as you're writing either the pillar post or the supporting post and going, man, that's a great fact. I'm going to put that out there on LinkedIn or in my Facebook group or whatever. That's a great idea. So thanks for sharing that. So
Sure.
once we move on from the topic cluster, we now need to begin to interlink these things together. So you'll see all of these supporting posts are going to link back to the pillar post internally. So as you're talking about content marketing, you would want to hyperlink the word content marketing or phrase content marketing or something related to that, and then have that hyperlink go back to the pillar post. Now, we don't want to stop there, do we, Lisa? We also want to make sure that that pillar post is linking back to the supporting post, right?
Right. So this is all SEO. This is all keywords. This is all crawlable from Google, because you want to make sure that not only your pillar post has ranking in SEO, but then when you're linking everything back and forth, it's all tying it together. So it just makes you rank even higher for SEO purposes.
Right. And so, just like we were talking about in the links that are going up to the pillar post where you might have content marketing and you turn that into a hyperlink, well, from the pillar post back to the supporting posts, if you were talking about marketing strategy or content marketing strategy in the pillar post, you would want to link that back to that first supporting document. So again, it's identifying the key phrase in that pillar post that has to do with the topic of one of the supporting posts and then linking back to there. But we don't want to stop there. So we've got links going up to the pillar post and then links going from the pillar post down to the supporting post. But then finally, we also want to link the supporting posts back together. So, we're linking from tips for developing a content marketing strategy all the way over to the right to all those other supporting posts and vice versa. And when we've done that, that's when we've actually produced a true hub and spoke. And so I think when you see it graphically here, you can really kind of see why it's called a hub and spoke. So we've got this hub, which is the pillar post, and then our spokes are really all the links that are going back and forth. Now, this may seem like a lot of work, but really it's not that much work, is it, Lisa?
It's so easy because you're really producing one master piece of content, and then you're breaking out that masterpiece into smaller pieces, and then you could even micro break that out into micro little tidbits for social media. So it really is simple, Paul. If you just kind of think of the pillar post as and I use my hands a lot to talk. If you think of the pillar post as like you said, that is your main piece of content. And there's just so much value that you break out of that piece of content. Some of these social media gurus that I follow, or maybe you follow, they might do one keynote or two keynotes. And from that keynote, everything is broken into a blog post, a webinar, a white paper, a podcast. And so you don't have to recreate everything every single time.
Right. In fact, one of the questions we often get asked when we're talking about hub and spoke is, do you start with the pillar post and then create the subsequent posts or the supporting post, sorry, or do you start with the supporting posts and then create the pillar post? And there is really no right or wrong answer to that. Personally, I think it's easier to start with the supporting posts once you've thought through all the topics, obviously. Step one is you've got to come up with the topics. And I don't want to steal our thunder too much, but we've got a really cool tool we're about to show you that will help with that. But if you kind of come up with the topics first and then write all the supporting posts around those topics, then making the pillar post becomes super easy because it's just kind of becomes the Reader's Digest version of everything that you've written so far. And I think I probably just dated myself, Lisa. Do you think everybody listening to this has ever heard of the Reader's Digest? I don't know. I think are they still even around? I don't know if the Reader's Digest even exists anymore.
I don't know, but basically you're curating all your micro posts, your supporting posts, you're curating it into your pillar post, the ultimate guide, the definitive guide, the 10 steps, you're curating that information.
Right. So let's go ahead and show you this really nifty tool that we've put together. Or actually, before we get into that, let's talk about why it's important. I actually got ahead of myself here, but there are a few things that we've kind of touched on them throughout this entire presentation today. So don't need to spend a lot of time on it. But number one, it's really important because it helps you stay focused, right? Your content strategy is a strategy. It's not meant to throw, it's not about throwing spaghetti against the wall. It's about being very methodical and systematic, beginning with the end in mind, beginning with your customer and trying to understand what they care about, and then writing about things that they care about and the problems that they have. Hub and spoke helps you keep your content strategy on point for sure. And then number two, it helps with SEO. I think we've really kind of spoken a lot about that today, but that interlinking and having all those topics working together really is where you're going to get a lot of SEO benefit from a hub and spoke strategy. And then number three, it creates efficiency. Lisa, you've mentioned a lot about that a lot today, is that repurposing and pre-purposing really ultimately is about saving time, isn't it?
Right. So like I said, why recreate content or topics or information? Just take what you've already created and break it out even further.
Yeah, absolutely. And then now we finally get to take a look at this really nifty resource that we put together just for you guys. And I've got a screenshot of it here. Let me actually pull it up live for us. I'm going to get right over there to it. And we'll make this available in the comments of this live here in just a little bit. But I'm going to actually pull it up here, and you can see it right here. It's just a Google Doc. It's a spreadsheet. We've got it locked down so that you won't be able to use this actual document. You'll need to actually just download a copy for yourself. And you can see all it is really just a template. So you start with column A here, which are your core topics. This would be, products and services that you offer. This would be, big, high-level issues that your personas or your target audience is dealing with. This might be elements within, advantages or features that you're offering provides the marketplace. So you'll kind of decide what needs to go in A, but that's really, column A is really about the core topic or concept. And then column B, you'll actually think through what should that pillar topic be. And we've given you some things to think about. It could be, your essential guide, your ultimate guide, your definitive guide to whatever it is. But then the next column is around the create date. So you want to pick a date when you want to have that topic actually written. That's just project management 101. But what's really useful beyond that is all these different idea prompts that we've given you. Like, for example, right here, column E, what is? So what is topic? So, what is, digital strategy in this example? Now, you'll notice that in this example that I'm showing you, I don't have anything filled out for digital marketing under column E. The key point is you don't have to fill out or come up with a supporting blog for every one of these columns. They really are just prompts, and there's about 7 or 8 of them. There's what is, how to, getting the most out of, and it just goes on and on here. You can see that. And so the idea is if you can get of the 8 or 9 or 7 or 8 that are there, those prompts for you, if you get 3 or 4 of them that are really good topics, I think that's enough. Well, probably 4. I wouldn't do less than 4. Then you've got enough supporting articles for that pillar post. And this is the template. Like I said, we'll put a link in the comments of today's live. I wanted to actually show you ours. This is our working document right here. And Lisa and I are just starting to plan out the next quarter's worth of content. So this is our kind of brainstorming version of the document that we're going to make available. And you'll notice that over here in column A, we've got things like strategy and planning, goal setting, personas and audience, storytelling and copywriting, unique selling proposition, lead magnets, B2B social media, social ads. So those are all things, when you think about our business at Vindy, those are things that we either provide to our customers or we know they're struggling with or trying to figure out how to accomplish those things. And so that's why we're picking those topics. And then Lisa and me and the rest of the Vindy team will get together in a content planning brainstorm and actually just fill this document out. And what's amazing is, if you'll just look at our document, and I'm just going to scroll to the bottom, we've got 51 different topics. And then when you times that by, 9 or 10 different columns of, idea prompts, I mean, gosh, 50 times 9, that's like 5 years worth of content. Now, granted, we're not going to build all that out, and we do our content strategy planning every quarter, but I think you can really start to see that by doing this with a template like this, is really going to help you kind of think through your planning and make it real easy. And we found that just works really well for us, haven't we, Lisa?
Well, and Paul, I want to kind of speak a little bit about to what you said. So you said we have brainstorming sessions. So one of the questions, again, that we get asked is, how do I create content? Where do I find ideas for content? How do I generate content? And so utilize your team and have those brainstorming sessions. Your frontline people might be the best people to ask. What kind of questions do you get asked all the time? What problems are you solving for the customers all the time? Do some surveys on social media, so maybe even call some of your existing customers and ask them, hey, what's some information that I provide you that you can't get anywhere else, or that you think is so valuable? So those are just some ideas to help generate some topics.
Right. So let's kind of drive this home and just kind of summarize the key concepts that we've covered today. Number one, hub and spoke isn't about bicycle tires, right? Hub and spoke is a great way to become efficient in developing a content strategy, and it actually makes content development and thinking through a content strategy super easy. It also helps you from a search engine optimization perspective. And then finally, it makes your life really easy from repurposing and pre-purposing and coming up with social content.